G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, emails between Jeffrey Epstein and Katherine Keating, the daughter of former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating, are in the Epstein files. And the reason they're relevant is because they're discussing Paul Keating, the former Australian Prime Minister. Now, I'll be publishing an article on it on Wednesday, the 19th of November 2025, and I've done up the draft of the article, so I'll read that out now. Now, this article is a follow-on from my article and video in relation to Kevin Rudd, former Australian Prime Minister, being also named in the Epstein files, which I published a couple of days ago. So you can go to my website or YouTube channel and you can watch that video or read that article. The article for tomorrow is titled, Jeffrey Epstein's emails with Paul Keating's daughter Katherine are in the Epstein files. And it starts off, Paul Keating's daughter, Katherine Keating, had direct email communication with global pedophile Jeffrey Epstein in 2011 emails, newly released by the US government show. Paul Keating is a former Australian Prime Minister who continues to have influence on Australian politics via interviews and direct contact with politicians, such as the Federal Treasurer, and given the emails point to Jeffrey Epstein having an interest in Katherine Keating's father Paul, it makes this matter a public interest story. Katherine Keating sent an email at 12:36am on the 28th of October 2011, possibly to a group which included Jeffrey Epstein, with an article attached of her father doing an interview in the Australian newspaper. Jeffrey Epstein responded to the email sent by Katherine Keating on the 28th of October 2011 at 4:32pm, asking if she was here. At 4:33pm on the 28th of October 2011, Katherine Keating responded and said, yes, just arrived back from San Fran, which I assume is San Francisco. The emails show a few days later, Katherine Keating emailed a group of people on the 31st of October 2011, including Epstein, boasting their father's new book and attaching an article from the Australian newspaper promoting the book. Katherine Keating says in the email, sent at 8:21am on the 31st of October 2011, and I'll put that email up on screen now. And it says, from Katherine Keating to Katherine Keating. That normally means they're sending it to a group. Subject, afterwards. And it says, dear friends, I wanted to share with you the thought of my father's new book, Afterwards. He truly is an inspiration, and so is his writing. The book, which is a compilation of his speeches, was launched yesterday in Sydney. I'll be sure to send you a copy. It's a brilliant read. I trust this email finds you well. Kind regards, Katherine. At 10:50am on the 31st of October 2011, Jeffrey Epstein responded to Katherine Keating's email and said, where are you? Katherine Keating responded and said, in New York, you? At 3:08pm the same day, Jeffrey Epstein emailed Katherine Keating and said, send me your phone number. This is where the emails end. At least at this point, there would have to be a good chance that there are more emails to be released, which would tell more of the story. First email above was Jeffrey Epstein contacting Katherine Keating in relation to an article about her father, Paul Keating. Jeffrey Epstein is well known for networking at the highest levels of government, and there can be no doubt that Epstein was using Katherine Keating to get to her father, Paul Keating. Epstein asked Katherine Keating for a phone number in the last email, so that might explain why the email trail ends there. It should be assumed Epstein and Keating did talk on the phone, spoke about Paul Keating, and Epstein asked Katherine for Paul Keating's contact details. Katherine Keating, who is a daughter of former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating, has been known to have some sort of connection to Epstein since 2019, when video was made public of her leaving Epstein's New York house at the end of 2010 and saying goodbye to Prince Andrew at the door. Jeffrey Epstein's Wikipedia page says, in 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida, began investigating Epstein after a parent reported that he had sexually abused her 14-year-old daughter. Federal officials identified 36 girls, some as young as 14, whom Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. Epstein pleaded guilty and was convicted in 2008 by a Florida state court of procuring a child for prostitution and of soliciting a prostitute. He was convicted of only these two crimes as part of a controversial plea deal agreed by the US Department of Justice's Alex Acosta. Epstein served almost 13 months of his 18-month sentence before being released on the 22nd of July 2009 for a year of probation on house arrest until August 2010. Katherine Keating's Jeffrey Epstein connection. December 2010. Below is a picture of Catherine Keating saying goodbye to Prince Andrew, which I'll put up on screen now, as she is leaving Jeffrey Epstein's house in New York, reportedly on the 6th of December 2010. The picture, an associated video, was made public in 2019. Catherine Keating has never said why she was there. February 2011, dinner party at Jeffrey Epstein's New York house. Emails released a few weeks ago show Jeffrey Epstein emailed Prince Andrew on the 16th of February 2011 saying, "Would you ask Catherine Keating if she'd like to come for dinner with Woody Allen this week in New York?" Ms. Keating confirmed to the Daily Mail this week that Andrew had fixed her 2011 dinner with Epstein. Ms. Keating said, "I did attend a February dinner at Andrew's invitation. It was a large social event. A sizable chunk of New York society was there, including American broadcasters Barbara Walters, Charlie Rose and Katie Couric. At the time, I'd only lived in New York about 10 weeks and was happy to accept the odd social invitation." Several days after Andrew and Epstein were emailing about Ms. Keating, on February 20, 2011, the News of the World finally ran their bombshell photo of Andrew and Epstein in Central Park that had been taken in December with the headline, "Prince Andy and the Pedo." The piece read, "Just what is the fourth in line to the throne doing meeting with a convicted child sex pervert, even if he is a billionaire? Prince Andrew goes for a stroll with a disgraced billionaire friend who is a convicted child sex pervert." My article goes on to say, "It's hard to believe after the media reports about Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein in February 2011 that Catherine Keating did not know Epstein was a convicted pedophile. But as you can see by the October 2011 emails, that didn't stop Catherine Keating associating with Jeffrey Epstein." October 2011, email chain between Jeffrey Epstein and Catherine Keating, as per the above emails. The email chain above, which I've reported, has only been reported by one other media site that I know of at this point. That should not be a surprise because there's only been a couple of media sites that have reported Kevin Rudd's cocktail party at Jeffrey Epstein's house, which I reported a few days ago. 2014, Catherine Keating's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. In 2014, Catherine Keating interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell for the Huffington Post, which starts off, "Ghislaine Maxwell is a British philanthropist and the founder of the Terramar Project, a non-profit organisation dedicated to building a global community that will advocate for the world's oceans and high seas." My article goes on to say, "Ghislaine Maxwell is currently serving 20 years jail for child sex trafficking and other offences in connection with the deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein." Catherine Keating's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell reads like a puff piece trying to improve Maxwell's reputation. Catherine Keating could address exactly what her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell was, but she has chosen not to. The question should also be put to Paul Keating to see if he had any dealings or contact with Jeffrey Epstein. And given the above email exchange, Paul Keating should at the very least put out a press release addressing the matter. Over time, as more documents are released, at least some of the truth will become public. People like Catherine Keating, Paul Keating and Kevin Rudd, who are named in the Epstein files, should get on the front foot and address the matter publicly. Avoiding the media on the issue, or being caught lying on the matter like Kevin Rudd has, makes them look guilty with something to hide. Now, I'm an independent journalist, and I'll finish off this video like I did the previous one, admin. I'm an independent journalist, and 100% crowdfunded by readers like you. I need about another 200 monthly supporters to be financially viable. Most independent journalists are small business owners or sole traders and are struggling at the moment, just like many small businesses are. If you could afford a small amount between $3 and $100 a month, or whatever suits your budget, it would be greatly appreciated. You're not locked in, you can cancel at any time. The donations page on my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, has all the donation options. And there's a link to the donations page below this video on YouTube. Do your bit and help shine a light on corruption and share this video on social media. And please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button. That way you get notified every time I publish a new video. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.